Wanda killed me?
Yes. But it's not that simple. You asked her to do it.
Why would I have done that?
To save the universe? Well, half of it.
Did it work?
It did. Until the bad guy rewound time and killed you himself. There are a few extra steps, but to set up the context.
I came back and died again.
And she had to watch.
Welcome everyone to What the Fiction and our I'm not gonna be able to get through this. Our deep dive discussion show of WandaVision.
It's gonna be a circus.
Oh, Our deep dive discussion of WandaVision and episode 7, Breaking the Fourth Wall. Okay, so for those that are listening to this after the fact on the podcast, Kyle is dressed as a clown and I am dressed as...
Not just any clown, I'm a ringmaster clown.
Yes, you are. Oh my god, okay.
So we have some beverages to start things off.
I'm so
My hands, they're so full because I got the smaller martini glasses today so you can see the colors. Ay. So we have one here. This is the first one. It is called an it's a, what did I call it? A naughty Agatha.
A naughty Agatha.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that is 1 ounce of Parfait Amour, which is a purple, perfumey, flowery kind of liqueur. And so I've paired that with an ounce of lemon vodka and some white cranberry juice and a little splash of lime. You throw that into a shaker with some ice. You shake it all up. You pour it in, and it is delicious. Parfait Amour is nice, but it's very floral and perfumey, so you need to cut it with some citrus typically just to bring out those notes. So it should taste really yummy. And it's purple like Agatha's magic.
It matches my hair.
Yes. And does it match your desire for deliciousness?
It's delicious. I want to try the other one though because it looks so cool. So
here is the other one. You can't see it so well because I think it's going to be kind of too bluey green. But this one is blue raspberry vodka. It's hard to come by, but it's blue colored. So you can use any blue colored thing. There's an ounce of Goldschlager, which is a cinnamon schnapps with gold flakes inside it that you get to eat, which is yummy, but I mean, they just pass right through you, so there's not much purpose to them. This also has an ounce of seltzer just to give it some sparkle, and that's the whole drink right there. So here we are. This one is called, what did I name it?
I have the drink names right here because I prepped them.
There we go.
Oh no, it didn't show up. Maybe it will. Maybe I did it twice. It sometimes takes a moment.
I think this is called Spectrum Revealed or
Full Spectrum.
Full Spectrum.
Yeah.
There we go. So chin chin, cheers to all of you out there drinking. I hope I don't dip my nose in this. Oh, yummy, like cough syrup. Here, try that.
This one is really good though.
Yeah,
so.
it's kind of cinnamony, raspberry-ish. I have a gold flake on my finger.
Okay, let me try it. Photon. So it's photon themed, somebody asked. Yes. Oh, I like this one.
Full spectrum. I like this one. So let's just trade and stay. Okay, that's cool. I will keep with the
gold
Parfait
flakes.
Amour.
I like. Oh, there's a gold flake on my finger.
Yeah, I had one on my finger too. Delicious. We'll lick our fingers on stream.
All right. Oop. There we go. Okay, so Breaking the Fourth Wall, which is like, I'm a big fan of Deadpool. And so like having the concept of breaking the fourth wall and like kind of everything disintegrating is something that I've always sort of loved. And like, you know, interactions with the audience out there via comic or TV. And, you know, this episode really having the structure and the thematic elements of Modern Family really lean into that like docu-style vibe, right?
Right.
Yeah. So what did you think of breaking the fourth wall?
Like as a whole episode?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I've watched it 4 times now.
Whoa.
I don't know if I like it the least of all the episodes we've seen. I mean, it's still WandaVision, and I still find it to be absolutely phenomenal. I did have some structural issues that I didn't enjoy as much in this episode, but it comes from so many characters now and so many plots. It's kind of like 3rd or 4th season of Game of Thrones, where there are so many stories that are unfolding that everybody only gets a tiny amount of time, right? Everybody only gets to go so far. And but I mean, I laughed so many times during this episode. I was surprised several times during this episode. And so I really like, all things told, this is must-see TV. This is like some of the best television I've seen in a long time. It's just comparative to the rest. I'm just worried that the base and the foundation that they've laid for everything that is going to come in the next 2 episodes has any chance of holding, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. I mean, we know it's going to kind of devolve into typical MCU-ness, I think a little bit, but I really hope it retains, I don't know, the magic of the show. I feel like that's such a weird way to say that, but I really hope it retains like the magic of what makes this this show so wonderful.
It is magical.
It is. And you can see like Kyle, his hat is green and
there's green parts.
Like, it's magical itself, so
yes,
it's disappeared.
It's not heavy because it's like literally half of a green screen. So
it's
it
like
literally matches the green screen. It's so funny.
But you know, in general, like I'm loving every episode, and like this episode in general, like for the costuming, I woke up this way practically. Like tired mom is my way of being. So I appreciated this from a costuming perspective. And if she's kind of, because it seems like we're going into kind of a finale arc, and I think she wears this for like the next couple of episodes. So I feel very relaxed.
I'm a little worried that we're going to go into Wanda getting tied up and knocked out and Vision having to save the day. I mean, that is classic.
I think that's going to happen at least once.
Classic Marvel, classic relationship between Wanda and Vision. And I don't want to speculate, but I mean, that is literally what happens in every comic. I think it's just because Wanda's so powerful that they don't know how to write danger for her. It's like Superman always is saving Lois Lane because, you know, what else can he do? He doesn't want to hurt. He won't hurt people. And if you put Lois in danger, that's his focus.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Exactly. And like, I have a lot to say about this episode. And like, you know, like there's a lot of people like using that Friends gif with Chandler, like running into the room and going like, I was right. Like, you know, or like vindication, because this show actually leans into, giving solid hints of where it's going with the show and what's going on, and you know, like nothing is surprising, and we feel smart because we picked up on those hints and enjoyed them along the way, and also we still enjoy the reveals. Like look at Agnes's reveal,
exactly,
like delightful, right? So
I like to say, you know, there's that quote where they're like, do I foreshadow? I foreshadow well. And I feel like the writing team, Jack Schaefer and Matt Shackman, they all can say that with extreme clarity at this point.
Yeah, exactly. And I hope that, oh boy, I hope that like to kind of everybody's fears, I do hope that Wanda finds a way out of it.
Yeah.
You know, but I do think that it's very satisfying to see Wanda and Vision come together, and that's what they're setting up with this episode. And it's exactly what I said. There's going to be a separation. They're going to realize that they need each other, and they're going to come back together. And that's what you do in in good romantic writing, right? You realize you need the other person and they are truly your partner in what you're kind of going along with.
Yeah,
So
Darcy really brings that home in the scene.
oh my God. Darcy and Vision, like, I want Darcy to literally do what we talked about several episodes before and like show up in all of these shows because like she pairs well with everybody. She brings out this like, you know, very
Yep.
wonderful reflection in other people and allows them to kind of, especially how she's placed in this show, like allows them to think through like who they are and what they are by just talking with them. And it's such a wonderful role for her in the MCU. I feel like it's great.
She's always good at giving a fellow performer the breathing space to inhabit the scene. Like I think everybody would love to perform with Kat Dennings just because she's so good in everything she's done of giving other actors, her fellow performers, her undivided attention and breathing space.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, we saw that in Two Broke Girls, how well she paired with the other actors in that show, given time and being quirky, but also like enhancing their ability to act and do all of those things too.
Yeah.
So,
They're all so good at that.
Yeah.
All of them have that skill.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have known Elizabeth Olsen had it. And actually, to be honest, some of the Modern Family style sitcom in the moment scenes seemed a little forced
Oh, okay.
in this episode. The asides were just brilliant, like Vision and Wanda sitting on their own. The looks to the camera were all great. Catherine Hahn's looks to the camera especially, and then her own asides, which if she's controlling it all, she's literally filming herself.
Yeah, exactly.
So I thought that was really important and interesting to look at but the moments in the scenes, some of them they didn't seem quite real. And that's one of the things Modern Family always did so well, was that you felt like you were capturing that family right in that moment.
Yeah.
And some of these seemed a bit forced.
Well, and we recently watched through all of Modern Family, so it's like very fresh for us.
So fresh.
Yeah.
11 seasons.
Yeah.
The whole way through. We watched it nonstop over the course of like 3 months as a family and talked about it afterwards. Modern Family is one of our favorite TV shows of all time. And to see it reflected in this episode is just a delight. And I wonder if things are going to continue over next weekend's episode.
I think they're going to stay in the Modern Family type setup, but
there's nowhere to go from here. What shows come out after Modern Family?
Like
what
from
would
a
they do
family
next?
drama. Yeah.
I think that's part of the reason why they might have done different intro. So if you want, I have intro thoughts. Do we want to get into the
let's get into the
PowerPoint?
PowerPoint because I do have a few things I want to talk about before we get into the show. So now we're getting into the show.
I wish this like beeped. Yeah, that'd be fun.
You could just make a sound effect.
I could.
Yeah.
Or I could drink this drink.
I don't know what you're talking about. That doesn't taste like cough syrup. It's really good.
Oh, you're liking it? Maybe it was
Yeah.
just my taste of it.
Yeah.
It's quite good. This is delightful. I don't know why you wanted to trade.
I don't know. Because you drink the purple and I drink the sparkle. I don't know. I'm trying to be nice. I don't know. Okay.
so
I wanted to highlight some fan artists that I'm friends with on Twitter and on Instagram. And just because their fan art has like, I'm a big fan of fandom and like how it ends up like filtering between weeks. And I just absolutely love that we are getting such gorgeous fan art reflecting these wonderful moments. And this is Alex Leonis. Inside of the liner notes, so the notes underneath this episode in YouTube or on the RSS feed after the fact, there will be links to their Instagrams. Please do check them out. So this is Alex Leonis, and Alex is actually an animator, and she captured the bend that Elizabeth Olsen makes in that one scene perfectly. She was like obsessed with it. She was tweeting about it. She was like, oh my God, I really want to do it.
How is her waist that small?
I don't know. I love Alex's art. So whenever she chooses to do something amazing, and I kind of chose 3 different artists and asked their permission. This is all full with permission.
Yeah.
So
If you like this art, go and buy it.
yeah, go and buy it or go buy their art.
It, print.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
would love that.
Yeah.
I would be over the moon
yeah.
to hear you buy a print of
But I
Alex
love the
Leonis's
butterfly
work.
moment too with the nose, burp, burp,
Beep.
boop, as well. It's great. And then this is Audrey, who she has very powerful and stylistic art, and I really appreciated how these two are framed together. And I really love her
I
style.
like how their backhands are almost touching each other.
Oh yeah, I think that maybe it's supposed to be reversed, but
Ooh, if it's reversed, I like
Yeah.
it less. I like how they're coming together while arrayed against some other foe. And they're kind
yeah.
of holding hands in the background sort of thing.
Oh, that's
I like
nice.
that.
Yeah, so check out Audrey's art as well on Instagram. And then this is my good friend, Lady Valkyrie, who has,
Oh,
who's,
Lady V.
yeah, who's doing this to you, Wanda. And then also I really liked her like kind of magical pregnant
70s Wanda.
70s Wanda. Yeah, so
She really captured that dress really well.
yeah, it's awesome. So kind of 3 different art styles, and they're all very powerful. And one thing I love about fandom is how we take art and we take the art that is presented to us, and if it's good and it connects with us, we are inspired as a fandom and as individual artists to create more fan fiction, art, and it just ends up being something that creates more. And
Yeah.
that's why storytelling is so important.
Yeah, creation begets creation.
Oh my God, Marriott is, of course, Lady B.
That's awesome.
Yes, that's her name on the
That's
bottom.
a me.
That's
Yep.
a me. Yeah. Yeah. So
Oh, I love that piece on the left.
yeah.
That's just delightful.
And it actually has like if you go full, you can actually see
Ooh.
like the little glitches of the two. Yeah, I'm a big fan. Big fan of these 3 artists. So thank you so much for letting me share this with our
Please keep creating more. We
Yeah.
realize that WandaVision will be done. This is a limited series. There is no season 2 that I am even aware of happening. And as a result, we're only going to get this. And then whatever we get after this, it'll be created by the people.
Yeah.
And I think that's really relevant and important. Things like Firefly live on in people's lives because even though we got Serenity, we will never get anything else ever again. And so it's nice to see this sort of thing be, blossom and fostered because we won't get any more once it's over.
Yeah. And yeah, it will be good to see what kind of fan works end up coming out of this, I think. All right, let's get into the episode. Never have I more identified with a character than
I don't know. You've never slept in your leotard costume from the night before
I
as
feel
a mom.
I feel like maybe when we were LARPing regularly.
Even then, I don't
Yeah,
know. But
I don't know.
still.
Pretty close, but I have slept in my makeup. Which
I mean, no one has ever said like the voices in my head are really loud, mom, and resting her eyes. I was really unhappy with that moment because it was not. It was yeah.
So okay, I have a lot.
What
of
do you
thoughts.
have to say?
Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts on this. It's like sometimes you're like you think about it. We used to get up really early when we just had one kid.
Yeah.
Get up really early because she would get up like super early and like turn on a television show for like an hour or so. And one of us would be passed out on the couch while the other one was still sleeping.
Yeah.
This feels so real. And I know that you superpowers, etc.
I would finally wake up around Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. That's when I would finally wake up on a morning.
Yeah.
Which is like an hour and a half into, the
Or
TV parenting of a child.
turning on the hour of Little People.
Oh my God, Little People. That's
Yeah.
fair. Yes, we used to watch those DVDs.
Yeah, those
and then it's
DVDs,
like,
you
can we
turn
just
on
turn
one
it on again?
DVD.
And our son with the movie Cars, I would just sleep to the movie Cars until the movie was over on a Saturday morning.
Yeah.
So I get this. I get this wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
It just he does such. Is it Tommy?
It's Billy.
It's Billy.
Yeah.
I mean, they're twins. Billy is so good at injecting that like a little bit of panic. He's like, the voices are really loud, mommy, and I'm really scared. And I don't know if I would have responded that way.
I mean, maybe she was kind of thinking that was his new normal. So
Maybe.
it's like,
But I like that. I just felt like the line
Yeah.
needed some reshaping, and they only
Yeah.
had so much time. But I didn't like the line piece of that.
mhm.
I would have felt it would have been more true if she had just like said, yes, and then he'd been like,
oh,
oh,
okay.
and then because that would have been like, I would have been like, I've lived that life where I'm like, just respond with sound.
Yeah. It, I don't know that the Modern Family ever reacted this way. It felt very modern. It felt very modern, like,
Yes.
you know, or like even, Love and Marriage, whatever, you know, like that show.
Yep.
Yeah.
Married with Children.
Married with Children. It felt very Married with Children in a way, like, you know. But I think that it is important to point out, and I don't really have a slide for it, but that it's okay to take breaks as a mom, to work that out. Like, you're gonna get burnt out, or as a parent, you know, like Kyle, you know, you're a very invested dad. Like, you've been there changing diapers. You stayed home with the kids during parental leave, like, for 5 months? 5 months,
5 months
yeah.
of Will.
Yeah. Will and Robin.
Yeah.
You were a stay-at-home dad for 5 months after babies were born. I mean, in Canada, we
I
have...
highly recommend that. If
Yeah.
you like split that so that you get that bonding time with your children. It's just super important. But then like, just like recognizing that you're a major focal point in their life is super huge. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that it's really, really important to still, like, acknowledge that although it's framed kind of, in a way shamefully in this episode, that mommy breaks are not a bad thing.
yeah, no, it's really important.
Yeah.
Like, she needs time away, and she's got that friend in Agnes to help her out, and she just looked so relieved.
Yeah.
So relieved. The way she holds the remote to her face, I really, like, that was a great choice on the part of the actress there. I was like, I feel that, you know, like, it's just me and the TV for a moment. Oh. Yeah, I really liked that.
I liked the kids scene where they were playing their video game, complaining, and that flashback to other moments was very Modern Family as well.
Yep.
But
it was really hard to capture that scene that we're showing right there.
You did really good.
It was hard because it's just a moment.
I know. It's like a couple of split seconds.
Yeah. But like, anybody know what that game is? Because it looks like a one-player game.
It's a one-player game, and I have a comment, which is
okay.
This is exactly what happened with me and my brother. He would hand me the remote that was not turned on, or the controller that was not turned on. I personally think Billy is the only one actually playing.
Fair. That's very fair.
Why Uno? I don't know why the games. I think it was just to kind of show like something that was before, something that existed before video games as a game, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
I loved that. Like, they went backwards through the years to Uno. That was just a brilliant play. Super funny. I recognized each and every single one of those controllers, having had all of those controllers. It definitely lent like, this is the modern day. Is really how it felt. And if it's not super modern, it is at least post 2000, and, you know, really
Wii controllers. Yeah.
How much has changed post 2000 to 2021? I don't feel like
maybe cell
stylistically,
phones
house-wise,
a little bit.
you know, maybe. But controllers, not so much. So it was a great choice to use the Wii, which is also circa the time as well. Because we bought our first Wii in like 2004.
Yep. And we had it around. We used it until we got the Wii U, which still used the same controllers.
Yes, exactly.
You know, so yeah.
We were using that well beyond the time frame of anyone else.
Well, I like that Jennifer Goldsmith in the chat pointed out that Uno has a reverse card.
That's funny.
That's awesome.
It was such a good apropos choice to move them all the way back to cards.
Yeah, it was great. And then, you know, she moves into the kitchen to grab her cereal, and
Why is it snaps? That's just
I know.
oh my
like
God.
the
The
Thanos
snap.
snap. It says Sweeney's sugar snaps.
Yeah, I don't know who Sweeney is, but that's delightful.
Yeah, and I put on the back. I captured a picture of the back because it actually has a maze and it's got a circus.
Yeah.
And I was like, I wonder if they're saying something or if this just happens to be like a happy circumstance. I hope it's saying something. It's like an Easter egg that there's going to be like some sort of maze that Wanda psychologically has to get herself out of. I really, really hope that that's what they're doing.
Also, it's just apropos that there was
clowns
it's a kid's cereal,
kids cereal,
and it's got nothing but game to play on the background.
And
you even focused in even closer. I love it.
I know, and I do want to just point out. The fridge precludes that Wanda's reality includes Florida, great value, which is a Walmart brand, and Canadian Dry ginger ale. So
also, everything in there is a drink.
I know.
It's
There's
so
like
funny. There are nothing but beverages.
Cereal and beverages. That's all we have going on. Yeah.
I love how it started out as modern day almond milk.
Yeah.
Backed up to a 2-liter jug of vitamin D enriched milk,
and
then backed up to the milkman delivered bottle of milk before reverting to a final form that she just kind of ignores and walks away.
The radio also is really interesting because it's WNDA radio that's playing over top of it. And if you put on the closed captions, which I highly recommend the closed captions in the show because you hear all of the background ADR that is added in and layered in and just enhances the over storytelling. They use every single thing in existence to try and tell this story. It's so good. But so it's WNDA. So that's Wanda Radio. And it's talking about, literally, it's like narrating how she feels. It's like, oh, you were out late partying for Halloween. Make sure to not eat all that candy. We've got some tips for you. Or eat all that candy. As she's about to eat the like super sugary snap cereal. But then we also have a semi-focus on the missing child, which was very apropos of the time.
Yep.
We looked close. They're just Lucky Charms.
They are totally Lucky Charms. It's delightful.
Yeah.
And they're magically delicious, and I miss them in my life.
Yeah.
But as a 43-year-old human male, it's really not a good idea.
I do think the missing child could have been the foreshadowing to the missing twins. I do think that was the case. I also think that later on when we get Vision,
it's also a total flashback too, because they would put those on the milk jugs of that era. Because remember, the milk jug is devolving in time over time, and so this isn't supposed to be a modern day 2-liter carton of milk. This is a 1980s carton of milk, and that's probably why she smells the cereal. Before she's like,
is this like 40 years old? Yeah. I do think that this, as well as Vision's question later on, which I do have a slide for, about are my kids okay, is foreshadowing for the missing twins.
Yeah.
So, I mean, good job, storytellers. They use things that can be purposeful for multiple reasons, and I just love and appreciate them. I don't know. Okay, so on to the WandaVision intro, which, oh my goodness, I captured every single one. There is 25.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And
so well done.
Yeah. I loved it so much. And this plays into,
I love how you put it in the middle. Is that literally in the middle?
It is literally in the middle.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So that's the I know what you are doing, Wanda, is right in the middle of the 25.
I love the keyboard one. I didn't really notice that one before. That's
the
delightful.
Keyboard. Yeah. They had to use 2 keyboards to do that because there's 2 A's.
Exactly. So this intro is from the ABC TV show Happy Endings.
I have a slide.
You have a slide on. But the music that is going on behind it is almost beat for beat. It's a little bit different for the intro to The Office. Both of them were TV shows. The Office is interestingly enough an NBC show, so it was interesting they used that music.
Yeah.
But the ABC, like only 3 seasons Happy Endings got, and
Yeah.
the visuals for that were just delightful. Really well done. Happy endings. And we got WandaVision.
Yeah.
And
Wanda Vision.
Right. 24,
Yeah.
24 times and then
Yeah.
Vision. What was interesting, why I keep referencing Modern Family, is because they keep doing Modern Family music behind it as well. So during the
episode, yeah.
while we got the documentary style thing, which was also an Office
Because
style
they have
thing
like
to
these
do.
bongo drums. It's very familiar. Modern Family's like theme song.
Yeah, especially at the beginning when she talks, and then you see, like, because a lot of times in Modern Family they'll say something and then they'll show you the something, and she's talking about expanding the border, and then you see the expanding border,
And then the bongos and
with
like
the Modern Family style music behind it. So I'm hoping that next episode we get a Modern Family intro with a hip because I just love it so much.
Yeah. And Christopher Beck is just knocking it out of the park with the audio.
It's so
like the music.
good.
It's so good. I love
I
it so
felt
much.
so in the moment for every single beat that we got in today's episode. It was really heightened by the music. The music really heightened every single emotional beat in the episode. You really felt like when we got to the clowns, that it was really, they're just clowning around. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
And Happy Endings is a show that Marie Claire and I have never watched.
No, we watched the first season.
But no, we never did.
I did.
Oh, well, alone.
Oh,
Okay.
I watched. But okay.
But what
no.
we did do
We
is
did.
watch the first 3 minutes of every single episode
because
of
we were
Happy
watching
Endings.
New Girls.
Because we were watching a different
New
show
Girl.
beforehand on our PVR, and at the end of it, we would get the first 3 minutes of Happy Endings. And I'm like, I always said, we always laugh uproariously at the first 3 minutes of Happy Endings. We should watch the whole show, and then we never did. So at least we love the first 3 minutes of every episode.
I don't know why they're, just people are asking about if there's any sort of significance to the 25 Wanda slides. I don't know. I don't know.
I think what's relevant about it is that they're just they're
Wanda alone though. That's
Also, I don't doubt it was really hard for them. I mean, they used The Office and Happy Endings, neither of which is family or couple oriented. It's a group of friends or a group of coworkers. And the reason why is because TV shows like Seinfeld and Friends knocked family sitcoms off the air.
Yeah, for basically 10 years.
And suddenly in the early 2000s, the only shows that people were greenlighting were groups of friends without kids who were trying to make a go of it. And we got How I Met Your Mother, New Girl, and we got
well, Friends was still on at that time too.
we got so many TV shows. I was trying to get the next. I had a huge list of examples because we Googled it to see what family sitcom is coming next. And gosh, there's very few. Disney Channel had a bunch, but they haven't drawn from the Disney Channel well at all in regards to this. No iCarly's, no Sunny with the Chance, no Wizards of Waverly Place, all of which took place
Wizards
in the
of
early
Waverly
2000s.
Place would have been a great one.
Wouldn't it have been a neat style to jump into for this one?
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, it was an interesting choice, and if they're kind of gonna be breaking the sitcom style going forward, it's fine to end off on Modern Family because it spans an entire decade plus. So I think that's fine.
Yep.
Yeah.
Laura mentions Parks and Rec. Carly says Big Bang Theory. Dominic says Community. Like, you can list them if you're just sitting there and you're not on camera. You can come up with like 10 examples of non-family sitcoms that happened in the early 2000s because of the preponderance of fame and success that Seinfeld and Friends had that changed how they viewed the sitcom strategy going forward.
Yeah, exactly. And then we cut to the only scene we get with Hayward outside of the Hex.
Yep.
And
even if it, like his underling gave him a look today. Again, she gave him the look in the car. She gave him the look today in the episode when she turns to him and he makes this dumbass comment. And I literally felt like she was thinking the words, "Why are you such a douche canoe?" And I was like, I'm like, yeah, he really is. Like, he's just He's just a dumb nut. He's not a good person.
He's not a good person. He's not a good leader.
Dumb.
He's dumb.
And they're preparing for launch.
I know. I'm like, what are you going to do?
I mean, I know Sword is all about launching things into space, but what does that mean? It was...
I do like that the hexagon is more hexagon like, and you can actually see like how it's like
the top of it. I love it.
You can see the angles. Like that was so cool. And then also purple, red.
Yeah.
Purple, red. What?
I know.
That is awesome. That was awesome foreshadowing for what happens later on when we actually see Agatha's magic come to fruition. Oh my goodness.
And doesn't it kind of look like a big top?
It does look like a big top a little bit, yes. Anyways, I absolutely love that this was just, you know, like we got to see the outside and now these walls are very like wall-like and it feels very structured.
Oh, it does, doesn't it? It's not just hexes that go up into space. It has a ceiling to it.
We launched today. And she's looking at him like, you're a douche.
Canoe. Yes.
Not just a douche. You're a douche canoe.
Yeah, like, oh, I hate him so much.
He's just the worst.
His hair, look at his, like, oh, he's got stupid guy hair too.
He's got stupid guy hair. He's been very stressed. His entire evil plans have gone awry.
Yeah, or whatever he's been told to do as acting director. He's not going to get that promotion to straight up director.
I know, right? Yeah.
But speaking of someone who got a promotion, you probably have slides for that. We'll get to that in a moment. It's time for Vision to wake up.
I have slides for that.
Yeah, we'll get to that promotion.
Oh, okay. So Vision starts out and it is the other aspect ratio, and as he awakens it changes aspect ratios.
There's even a sound cue
there's always a sound.
Not though there were a couple of times where there was no sound cue.
There isn't a sound later on with Agatha this episode, but for him and Wanda, whenever there is, or when they are going out of the hex, there is a sound cue. It's this noise. It's awesome. Yes, exactly. So I highly recommend just like watching the aspect ratios change. They're very enjoyable. And you're like, it's such like, I know I rant. I know I go on and on about this show using everything that is available to it.
Yeah.
But they really do. They really do, and it's so satisfying. It's so satisfying that they use
like that we get to spend time watching Vision wake up.
Oh yeah, no, and he's like the how they did the makeup and the CG, because they have to CG his face. It's just makeup, and then they CG it to make it look more whatever defined and yeah, and like. God, I love Paul Bettany so much after this show.
My God.
I mean, I loved him before, but like, oh my God,
he's amazing.
And then we find out that Darcy is the escape artist, and it fits so well because she's trapped to the truck. She was
literally chained up. And I mean, I was sad that she wasn't a waitress, but at the same time, like, you have to move the story along.
Oh yeah. No, I was fine with this.
Yeah, this is tied very up to funny. An old-timey car
because of all of the clowns and everything like that. And then I like that we have mistaken Vision for being a clown and a Mexican wrestler.
Yeah.
Because it's like that, those two things are like, costuming for superheroes is always kind of weird.
Superhero robots or synthezoids, especially. Yeah. I love, you got the guy, I think that's the guy that kind of brought her in and was her handler to begin with. And he was the super jerk to her.
I don't remember.
Or he's just one of the guys. But what's great is that his belt has a big S on it for sword.
I thought that S was like strong man.
I think so, but at the same time, he's sword, right?
Yeah, things can be multiple things, right? And I was like, maybe it's also like Sweeney, like the cereal, and it's like the play on that. So
I just love that she punches him in the face. Like, you didn't bring me my coffee. Bam!
Yeah. I have a slide for that too, because me.
And then there was that unspoken moment we had between us. We locked eyes.
We locked eyes. We had an understanding. Yeah.
An unspoken understanding.
An unspoken understanding.
I'm ordering the lobster.
Yeah. But like they cut again, like to your point earlier on, they cut back and forth between the different pieces of the story very quickly, and it does feel a lot like Modern Family, but I don't know that it's maybe as successful in this particular episode.
Yeah, it's
but
tough. Also, like Vision's through line over the last 2 episodes is he goes to one place and then he turns around and he goes back.
Yeah.
This episode he doesn't even get back. It's like so that even his emotional journey hasn't been as windy as I would have hoped it would be for his storyline to have real true connectivity. Also, there was 0 difficulty in awakening Darcy, and I understand that, but it's like we just need to move on.
Yeah.
So let's get them in that funnel cake truck already.
Yeah, exactly. That was great. Uncle P said the thing about re-killing Dad.
Uncle P.
Uncle P. Uncle P. Don't believe anything that man says. He's not your uncle. And like she just like, well, who is he then? It just leaves it at that.
And she just is like, let's move on.
Yeah.
Although that was really, really, really good moment there where she changed the topic.
Yeah.
Because she said, let's just get real for a moment. I don't know everything.
Oh yeah. Baby's first existential dread.
Yeah.
Everything is meaningless. I don't know everything. And, I've had these moments where I've been like, you look to me for answers and I got nothing. Sorry. That's where I'm at.
Yep. It was so well done. Those lines, that scene, that moment, that transition, I really felt it, especially when she sat down between them and was like, it's just hard, kids. And then they flash to her and she's like, what ifs? They got vibranium, Dad. They're thick skinned.
Yeah, exactly. They're literally part vibranium. They got tough skin. And I do want to like call out, like, it is not expected that you would be able to handle everything. Like,
no.
Yeah, mental health wise, like.
That's why you need family around you. And that's something that's missing
family
is
and
that
community.
extraneous group. We have Agnes.
Yeah.
Or so we thought. But we don't really have anybody else. Uncle Pietro especially is fraught.
Yeah.
At this point, right? So.
And I mean, like, the Avengers are kind of their family in so many ways. And because they all like live together in the Avengers compound and they're not there.
Exactly.
And they have to deal with a bunch of people. But, I love that we get Monica wanting to help Wanda so much.
I love that she continues to defend Monica even in the face of struggle with Monica. And it's telling to note that Wanda knows when Agnes is about to arrive.
Yeah.
Like she's known every single time. Oh, it's Agnes's cue. So interesting.
Yeah, and it's like, I would get up, but I don't wanna. Oh my god, I love her so much.
Yes.
I love her so much.
That's such a good line. I thought you'd wear a house coat today, but I like this instead.
No, but she wears this later on.
That's true.
Yeah, I had the choice, but the house coat that I was gonna wear is green and blue, and I was like,
green, not so.
This is better. This is
evidenced by my see-through head.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So yeah. And then Agnes is just like, I better take these kids away. I do appreciate that Tommy was like, do we have to? And Billy's like, we want to take care of you. Like, they don't want to go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, they don't want to leave. They were happy playing their video game and hanging out with Mom, but also, like, they haven't gone over to Agnes's house yet, right? They're only like 3 days old, so.
Yeah, exactly. 3 days old. And then, yeah, the world continues to shift. She is losing control over what it is supposed to be like. I do think that
is she losing control, or is what she wants changing?
Both.
Oh, okay. Because I think that she still has full control over everything, but she doesn't really know what she wants.
Yeah, fair. I also think that there's external influences to this, right? Which we discover through the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's important to consider that, like, that this is her
also,
feeling
that's the
out
Modern
of control.
Family couch. And the Modern Family coffee table.
I have a picture of it later on. The Modern Family couch. And that, the one that's on the corner is very similar
from
to
there too. Yeah.
And
I think it was a love seat though, wasn't it?
No, it's a side
chair.
It's a side chair too, but it's just in a different angle.
And the kitchen, as soon as I saw it, I was like,
the chair, the stairway up is exactly Modern Family too.
Yeah, but not because it's got walk-ons on both sides, and nobody's tripping up a stair.
Yeah.
Which, as a side note, he tripped up the stair in the pilot episode,
just accidentally,
but made it such a big part of the Phil Dunphy character that they kept it, and then they've added it in, fixed that stair ever since, and the stair constantly changes over the 11 years because he was never sure which stair it was, and nobody really wanted to correct him because they found it so funny. So there you go, a little Modern Family insight there, in case you didn't know. The tripping up the stair was an accident that they kept.
I'm going to actually make this one big because hopefully you can see it. You might not be able to, but this is actually Jimmy outside of the hex. He is going through the email that we saw in the earlier episode that Darcy had sent him. And it actually points to Project Cataract, which is revealed to be all about vision, all about your vision. But it also says that the email that was sort of covertly sent to Vision's office was actually sent by Hayward and not Darcy Lewis and interrupted. So it's like a false thing. So he's even more underhanded and thus deserving of the name Douche Canoe.
Yes.
I
hate him so much.
And then I grabbed the picture of Vision.
Oh, cool.
From the phone because he wants his sentient weapon back. Hayward is a bad dude.
Yeah, he's not a bad dude. He's an idiot. But he also just I really would like to know what his intentions are. Like, it may come back at the end of the day. Yeah. We're not trying to weaponize Vision. We're just trying to get Vision's AI core back in to power our station up top because we know Vision is the best AI.
Was formerly Jarvis, and
we're just trying to get that AI out. We could not bring him back online. Well, why? Because he's a sentient living being and he's dead. So that makes sense. But at the same time, like, who do you trust if not Jarvis, if not Vision, right?
Yeah, exactly.
He's the Avenger.
And I do like that they brought up his whole history. Yeah. And we'll get to that in a moment. But all right.
It's the big talk.
On to the circus. I mean, we had so many great performers. Like, they were doing actual circus folk tricks and stuff.
I kept looking for more hidden kernels in the costuming and whatnot.
I don't think there was anything.
There was so there's one to begin with where there's a girl dressed up like a burning fiery bird, which was very much like Phoenix or Jean Grey. And so I kept looking for more mutants in amongst the circus performers, but there weren't really. There was no beast type person. There was no guy, Cyclops sort of related thing. There was no get your snow cone icy here. And if they just included those, it would have been like super enthused.
You're like looking for the X-Men parallels?
Well, I was looking for other sorts of Marvel Cinematic Universe potentials to come through with it, but it was really just a lot of circus stuff. Guess the guesser, guess your weight and your age. I thought that was neat.
It was very circusy, and like the performances and there was some acrobatic stuff that was happening in the background, and I just was like, I appreciate this. This is good.
Yeah.
This is good. Oh, people are like, maybe they create the Sentinels.
Oh, Sword is creating Sentinels. Interesting. I would hate that. And it would fly in the face of what the Fox movies said were being done. But who knows?
I mean, this is a different universe, different reality.
What the circus does is to show that that Sword is just a bunch of clowns.
Yeah.
Which we've known from the beginning anyway, because they were so clownish to begin with.
Yeah.
A bunch
and
of
people pointed out, like Darcy says, this is the full clown car. Like, yes. And then we actually get that fruition, like, happening.
Exactly.
Coming to fruition. Yeah.
And so that's setting her there and then taking them immediately out of it. I love his throwaway line of, like, the agent double booked us as they take off. Yeah. I'm like, that couldn't have been a real line. He had to have ad-libbed it again.
That is,
Such a good line thrown out in the middle of the scene.
So, okay, first, like, the whole, like, fine, I'll go out with you, but I'm ordering the lobster. And then he wakes her up and he's like, what is your real name? Darcy Lewis. He's like, Dr. Darcy Lewis? And he refuses to call her anything but Darcy Lewis.
Yeah.
Every time he refers to her, and I love it.
Yeah.
so
He's so proper.
much.
He's so polite.
He's
Dr.
so-
Darcy
like-
Lewis sent an email.
He is a perfect person. That is what we know because he can pick up the hammer and all of that, right?
Yeah.
Dr. Darcy Lewis, I have questions.
He is worthy.
He's worthy, yes.
Yeah.
He is worthy. Exactly. And then we get this great moment where the guy tries to stop her, and this is leading into the whole like trying to stop them from getting to
You
Wanda.
made me bleed. You should have got me my coffee. I wish that line had been there. You should
Oh
have got
my
me my
god,
coffee.
that would have been amazing. But like she punches him, and then he's like, "Oh," and he was like the strong man, and it's like, oh, it's so good.
I
It's
know,
so
right?
good.
Oh, this is so good.
I love it so much. And then they're in the car.
The funnel cake machine.
The funnel cake.
What a
Funnel cake, which is not really something like we have super in Canada. Like
No.
we only recently got it, but it's like a big thing in the United States. I don't even think it's really a big thing anywhere else but the United States.
Also, what's great is the timelessness of the circus.
Mm.
Like it does, like the circus could be any era.
Yeah.
Like they would have been dressed in those costumes. They would have been driving those vehicles at any given time. Like if in like 70s and up, this would have been what we would have seen. So it really has a timeless quality to it. And I also just want to comment on the difference in their talking in the vehicle. It's not super soundscaped. You can hear the echo of the inside of the vehicle every time they talk. And I just thought that was so well done that like it lent more authenticity to these two people that are in an unfamiliar vehicle on the open road.
I like that he asks right away, "Are my kids okay?
Yes.
Like, are my children okay?" And then, who is that fake Pietro or that imposter Pietro? It's like, she's like, "Let's go. I don't have any
She's like,
answers.
I don't know that answer.
I don't know these
I
answers.
don't know that answer either. What do you know? How about everything that's happened up until this point?" And then it envisions mind, and he kind of talks about it in a bit. He's like, does that even matter? That happened to someone else.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so then this moment where she's like, everything keeps falling apart
Yeah.
and I can't fix it. And then the interviewer goes, "Well, don't you think you deserve it?" You're not supposed to talk.
You're not supposed to talk. It almost was a question.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to talk.
Yeah.
Which was just wild. Like also what Wanda's saying to begin with, and then that question is like, don't you think you deserve it? It's like, what is happening here?
Yeah. And there was a great clip where somebody actually took the voice because they have voice shifted it. And it is actually Catherine Hahn
Yeah.
speaking.
Yes, I
So
fully admit to being wrong here and saying,
why
well,
were
what
you
does it matter?
wrong? No.
I was wrong because I said it wasn't, and
I
you said
know.
it was, and then
And then I
somebody
found
proved it for
evidence.
you. Yeah, exactly. As always, she's right when it comes to voices.
I mean, I do have a superpower. That is my only superpower. The only thing I have is I can hear voices, like hear the voice and be like, that was this person from this place.
yeah, Agnes's voice is pitch shift here, and then Catherine Hahn is also the singer, the lady voice singer
Yeah.
in the following song of Agatha all along.
Agatha all along, yeah. Yeah.
So this is yet another good moment. It's a really Claire Dunphy sort of scene moment
Yeah,
here
it
too,
is,
where
yeah.
she's talking, she's very real in front of the camera. But then instead of Claire Dunphy, just the producers asks Claire a question, and she's like, not following the proper sitcom format.
Yeah.
You're just supposed to be an unbiased observer. And when that question's asked and there's no follow-up to that, it's a good time for a commercial, don't you think?
It's a great time for a commercial, to cut to a commercial. I'm still wondering if these are produced by Agatha, but we'll get into that.
They are all directly related to Wanda at every single time, because feeling depressed, like the world goes on without you. Do you just want to be left alone? Ask your doctor about Nexus, a unique antidepressant that works to anchor you back to your reality, or the reality of your choice. Side effects include feeling your feelings, which I just, oh my God, is that a real antidepressant? Confronting your truth. Oh my, if only drugs could do that, hey? Seizing your destiny, and possibly more depression, which is it's an antidepressant.
Well, it's kind of like how I liked that they listed out. I wish they had actually put the list of side effects on the bottom like they do on
Exactly. Oh, it would have been so funny.
actual drug commercial.
You should not take Nexus unless your doctor has cleared you to move on with your life. Nexus, because the world doesn't revolve around you.
Or does it?
Okay, so let's talk about Nexus.
Yes.
Nexus of all realities is a cross-dimensional gateway that allows access to all possible realities. It's kind of like an anchor point to all reality, and it is unchangeable and it is the same. But there is also something called Nexus Beings, which are beings that are central to their given reality. And Wanda is considered for Earth 616's reality to be a Nexus being of that reality, i.e., she has the ability and power and potential to change her reality and adapt it to suit her needs. And they've explored this rather thoroughly in the comics. I don't know if they're referring necessarily to Nexus beings or the Nexus of all realities in this, but they are definitely saying that Wanda has the ability to change things if she feels she needs to.
Yeah, exactly. And I do want to point out, I was like, what is going on with the behind artwork? And it is Celtic knotwork.
Oh, neat.
So like, I grabbed a picture from the earlier thing because it kind of shows the Celtic knotwork better. But Celtic knotwork has only been used in reference to Thor and Loki.
Oh, neat.
So I'm wondering if we're going to get a character thrown into Loki after this show.
Oh, some sort of Nexus related character.
Yeah, like if Darcy at the end of this show ends up getting thrown in. This is a thing that I would personally love to see, and if it doesn't happen, somebody write this fanfic. That Darcy gets thrown into the Loki show as a character, now superpowered, etc. Or maybe these characters end up getting pushed into different places.
Yeah.
The Nexus of all realities is originally from Man-Thing, but it is interesting that they do have already in the MCU in Thor 2, they have this convergence, which converged all realities or all realms. This is a thing that is already a concept, but then they're expanding it to include potentially Nexus beings. Yeah.
This is a really important, relevant point. Do we want to talk about the arc of the story, or do you have a slide for that later?
The arc of the
5 stages.
The 5 stages of grief. I didn't include that because I was going to include it next episode, but we can talk about it briefly.
I'd love to talk about it now because this
plays in directly into it.
And this drug, this commercial plays directly into that concept of the 5 stages of grief, and how we are in the 4th stage right now, which is depression. And she comes across as so depressed. She doesn't want to get out of bed. She doesn't want to get dressed. She's willing to eat whatever is at hand if she does feel like eating. And she needs to have other people around her to help her get through the day. And those are key functioning pieces in depression. And she doesn't have her husband or like her support structure is gone because Vision is still not home. And she even says, well, we don't need to go looking for him. If he wants to come home, he'll be here, which is something that people would say. Like, she's not going to do anything active. She's entirely reactive. And then, I don't know, do you know who posted this conjecture on the 5 stages of grief and how we're flowing through those 5 stages through the course of these episodes?
Yeah, I do.
Who was it?
Oh.
Okay, well, you look that up. The first 2 episodes are entirely denial. They do not want to share with the rest of the world around them that they have superpowers or that they are there. They just want to live a normal, healthy, reasonable life. If something wrong happens, let's just ignore it like it didn't happen. And we'll just say no to these things, deny their existence,
although
and we'll move on.
It was talked about this whole time, like on Twitter, but dipped in words actually.
Laid it out very specifically.
Yeah.
So good an idea.
Yeah. And, denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and then eventually we'll get to acceptance of grief.
Yeah. So this
which is what Monica tries to push her towards, which is acceptance. Yeah.
Monica's really there to be a helpful guide and counsel. She's always giving sage counsel in this show. Episodes 3 and 4 are very much angry related episodes, right? As we move into stage 2, and I I'm so glad that somebody posted this and I got to see the retweet on it today, because it really ties the through line of the show into this meta textual conversation about how we deal with grief and how that functions, and how in many ways family sitcoms in the evening after dinner are a great way to put aside the troubles of the day and get through it to the next day. And I think that was a really big thing for my parents. And I think it's less for us because there isn't that cable TV element that we used to have.
Yeah.
But I tell you, watching WandaVision every week, knowing that it's coming up, gives me that boost of serotonin uptake that I can feel a little bit happier about getting through the week, because I know this is something coming up and I can look forward to it.
Yeah.
And so using the sitcom in that regards, from that metatextual standpoint, says this is a way of dealing with grief.
Yeah, exactly. Or at least, processing your feelings, and fiction is used in a variety of ways to help us use a different lens to think about our own lives. And I want to encourage you to think about fiction in that way, that it's all about you, like how you absorb it, how you think about it. Judging other people based on their fictional likes and other things is just foolish, because how we absorb fiction is entirely up to ourselves. Rant over. All right. Your mom is super mom. Don't worry. She's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs in the aside. Okay. Oh, I hate this. I hate this so much with a passion. Because realistically, kids need to understand that their parents aren't perfect from a young age, even though it is a hard thing for you to grasp, because there is this hero worship. But like, we're very truthful with our kids when we're tired or we're feeling things, and we just say, like, this is us trying to work through it, because then they end up mirroring and modeling that behavior. And to say it's okay to cry, to say it's okay to have a breakdown, to say it's okay to feel things, is really, really important. And my big thing about this idea is that it is a massive problem with how we view moms. Like, I'm very lucky to have a partner who is a fully engaged parent as well as spouse, and not everybody is that way. They don't have that sort of relationship. They don't have a plugged in, I think referred to you like a toaster, synthezoid husband, who's fully invested in their children's outcomes, right? And as a parent, it is a very, very hard thing to do if you do not have a partnership. Sometimes you're a single parent and you have to do it on your own too. And so it's asking for help, and it is a community thing. It is a family thing. And if you don't have those options, like, it's fully understandable if you are needing moments to break down. Like, that is life. So I just want to say, like, the concept of supermom is bullshit. That's all. That was my rant. Sorry. I don't like Agnes in this scene. Sorry.
Yeah, well, you're supposed to start not liking Agnes.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Scene. Although I really want to point out, it was in the line you took. It was like, Senior Scratchy is a good listener. Hey, what the heck?
Yeah.
I don't like Senior Scratchy anymore. Not that I may ever have, but like, what is he listening to?
Yeah. I actually think that there's 2 Senior Scratchies in this episode, and we're going to talk about that.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah.
There's also a cicada on the wall, which you're coming up to right away, right?
No, that's when she comes into the house.
Oh, we're later. Yeah, we're still talking to kids. And kids, eat peanut butter sandwiches better than that. That was a terrible way to eat a sandwich. I'm very disappointed in you 2 twins.
Yeah, you didn't eat the crust at all. Okay, I love this moment when we basically see Monica become a superhero. It is awesome.
Yep.
It's so good.
She gets her promotion.
This is the promotion
This
moment.
is where we realize Monica is never going to be director of Sword.
No,
She has a different role to play in the storyline to come,
Mm-hmm.
and I love to see someone who I love to see superhero transformation, and it's done with deliberate effect. She's like, I am going to go and save the day. I'm going to push my way through here no matter what it does to me, because I feel that I'm the only one who can go in and do this.
Yeah,
what
and
needs to be
it's
done.
that great power, great responsibility. And we hear like not only Maria Rambeau's words, but also Captain Marvel's words, Carol's and Nick Fury's words in the background, basically like being like, this is how I built, this is who I am, and I'm going to fully grasp it and take ownership over this power and take it, even though it is painful. And even, and I love the Carol line, like, when God handed out the kids, she gave your mom the toughest one. And I just, oh goodness, it was massive. It was ownership. It was powerful. And I love this scene so much.
And I love how you see the different versions of her that could be, and she, through force of will, pulls them all to the best one and works her way through. She takes 7 full steps to go through the barrier, and that's how thick the barrier is.
Yeah.
As she works her way through. Although sometimes they show her taking a right step, and then she suddenly takes another right step. But I have to assume we didn't get to see the left.
Yeah.
We didn't get to see the left. So 7 full steps to go through the barrier, and she is changed as a result.
Yeah. And then when we get through it, we see 2 things, and the 2 bottom pictures are really, really important to me. We see that she can fully see through the barrier, which nobody else can, right? She can fully see through it. It's like, it's got a little bit of distortion, which is blue, but she can fully see through all of the interference.
She's seeing through the entire spectrum of light.
Yeah, exactly. So she can see through the barrier fully on the other side.
Yep.
And when she looks at the rest of the world, she can see all of the different spectrums.
Yeah, I don't think... I was responding to Jesse Garrett's, who thinks that she'll become the interim head. I don't think she'll ever become the head of SWORD. Just because she'll have a different role to play so quickly here.
Yeah. It all depends on where they end up going
and
this.
It's so good. She comes out, she walks through in her spaceman suit, and we hear the click, and the next thing we see is her tossing it aside and running full pell towards Wanda. Like, I will get there, Wanda. I'm like, that's like a mile-long jog you're about to take, but okay. And what was interesting to me was that they took the time to give us that sound cue of the click of the metal clasp, so that she's in the different costume and showing us throwing it aside as she runs ahead. It's like, she doesn't need to be dressed in a spacesuit for the rest of the episode, and they recognized that.
Yeah, exactly. And then I love this moment with the 2 of them, and honestly, like, I want Darcy and Vision. I want Darcy to like hang out with Wanda. Like, she's such an empathetic person, and she understands, and she also is the way, but that Vision starts to understand like how wrong he was with leaving her. And this was like to our previous episode when I talked about separations being really, really important in especially femme-gaze media. This is so important that he starts to realize like and understand and empathize with Wanda's perspective in the situation, and then also starts to take steps to remediate that and come back together with his partner.
Exactly.
That's like, it's just such a huge thing, and it doesn't necessarily need to be a man and a woman. It could be 2 women, it could be 2 men, but like, this is a very femme-gaze thing in general, and I think that it's expressing of emotion and need, and that's why it's important. As far as like, so Wanda killed me, I included this like at the beginning of the show before before our intro, and it's like, it's one of my favorite moments of this episode, because it's him fully understanding what Wanda had been through, and sometimes you don't even know what it's like for another person, and he has no memories too, and I blame Hayward for that. But we'll see. I mean, I think he doesn't have memories because Hayward has taken them from him. He probably wiped him, and so he's a different person. Yeah.
Oh man, just this This scene is so
Mm-hmm.
crushing because it makes you relive those moments that we all experienced.
Yeah.
But Darcy really plays it back. She is our eyes and ears and voice in this show.
And actor now inside of
Yep.
like the main story. She is there.
Yeah.
Right?
She's a participant in, which we all wanted, right? We all want to be a participant in
She's like,
Westview.
I gotta say, I wanted to have a guest spot secretly.
Yep.
Like that's what she said
That's
before.
how we all feel.
And that's how we feel. And we are the audience. And this is why I feel like the show really deserves all the love that it's getting, is because it is so aware of where the audience is at and takes us along and gives us a speaking role within the narrative.
Yeah.
Wow, that's smart. I've been watching WandaVision for the past week, and the love that you two have is real. You belong together. That is all of us.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love how he's like this, that I'm the result of, and they just showed the comedic sitcom of his origin story as well in this moment too. Like I'm a British AI butler that was turned into that is now in the body of the ultimate weapon of a sentient AI.
That was the genocidal, part of the genocidal plan of Ultron.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, it was
It's
so
the song
good.
that's missing from Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella, where the prince is like, me, who am I? And
instead it's like, I'm just your typical AI. Like, something like that. Yeah.
Like he really is. I hope if there's not going to be a musical episode, but that would be delightful.
Oh my God, a musical episode. I wish there was more time with this show. Every time we get the please stand by, I'm like, there's not more. And that's how I feel. I feel like I'm going to feel that way at the end of the 9th episode. Like I'm already just waiting. And yes, everybody's pointing out that Darcy is this is her OTP, and I totally agree. They are my OTP. I love them so much.
I agree. Yep.
Okay, on to
drug time.
Drug time. We think that the drug bottle actually says Wanda on it.
It does look like a W. It doesn't look like an N. But now from this angle, it kind of could be an N in a circle.
It could be in the Nexus pills.
So it could be Nexus pills because that's the red, that's the white labeling. But it also could be a W, or it could just be like a Tylenol or Advil knockoff sort of thing, just to say, mommy's got a headache. But it is interesting to note, and doubly relevant, there is a commercial with a red label, white lettering drug. And then later on, we see her taking a drug.
Yeah.
And so I initially captured this screenshot to try to hone in on the drugs, not realizing that what is on the right is a big red plate, a little yellow plate, and a green bowl, which are Vision's colors.
Yeah.
And I've gone back through, and there are so many instances where Wanda in the last episode and this episode is standing next to something that is Vision's colors.
Yeah.
So he's there, he's just not there. But we want to lend credence to the fact that Vision is still here, even if she's alone.
Yeah, and even if she's not super aware of it, he's still present. Oh my God, it's brilliant.
Also, I really want to get one of those trays for our garlic and onions. That just seems like a great thing to have. I've always just putting them in a drawer in a dark, closed place. That seems like a good thing to do. Let's get one of those.
Okay.
Amazon it.
Yeah, that makes sense. As far as for our kitchen.
Yeah, for our kitchen.
Yeah, for our kitchen. I pointed out last episode, the strawberry was yellow, red, and green.
Yep.
And that was because, your magic is connected to your love of the strawberry, which is Vision. And now I feel totally justified in saying that it was a theme for the show. So
yeah, that they're always going to have her. Oh, also, here she is in the red hoodie. And the little boy was in that red hoodie earlier too.
Yeah.
In the previous episode.
Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah.
Yeah.
I feel justified.
Okay.
I was right. No, I mean, it is what it is.
You're always right.
Am I? Okay. It's all about Vision. Oh, and up in the right hand corner, We have
The Modern Family
the
House.
Modern Family House, and I just like wanted to point it out. I didn't know where to put it, but look at that chair.
Look at the curtains.
Look at the curtains. Look at that.
Look at
blue.
the seats at the bar. They're the exact same seats at the bar. It's so well done. Over and over and over again, they replicate these settings, but they have to do them in the house that Wanda and Vision are in now, even though it subtly changes week in, week out. I just, it's so nice to see such attention to detail with an eye to homage, with an eye to revealing more with as little said as possible.
Exactly. Yeah. And then, we get this whole reveal, and like this just leans into me saying it's more complicated than just necessarily one big bad guy. It's a whole conflagrance of things that are going on.
Oh my gosh, so much.
This is all about Vision. Well, I love that Vision is part of this as far as like the reasonings why some of these things are happening. And that ties into how much Vision is ever present, but like in the background, like the toaster looks like Vision, but it also is a bomb type thing. And everyone's kind of like pointed that out, So it's like he's ever present, but maybe not in the forefront.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, this is such a hard scene to watch. This is all about Vision, and then she gets thrown out of the house, thrown up, and then like we got a glimpse of it before, but no, this is a superhero pose right here.
Yeah, when
she is thrown in the air and slammed down. Wow.
And like we got to see both of their powers like playing out, and it wasn't a direct fight because Monica's like, I'm not going to fight you, woman. Like, I agree with you.
Go ahead, take me out.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that's what you want.
You're not Hayward. You're not. He's a bad guy. He wants to use Vision, and he wants to make you look like the villain, and you're not. And she's like, maybe I am. And I'm like, good for her.
Maybe I already am. What a depressed thing somebody would say.
Yeah.
Maybe I already am the villain. Like, there's no point. I'm already the bad guy. Look at all the things I've done. But have you? You've told us over and over and over that you don't have this control, that you're not doing these things. And you've accepted that you're believing it now.
Yeah, you're accepting the worst possible narrative about you. Like, I just, I just think that, the negative voices that are being pushed by Hayward, by the different things that are happening, are all just being amplified by Wanda's own depression.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
it's amazing.
Yeah, she's
this
owning.
Scene is really important in many ways, because, like, I want to point out, everyone stops and watches. They're not frozen. They turn and watch the scene. The guy mowing the lawn in the background, he stops the mower and turns and looks. Everyone is eyes on. And that's what draws Agnes to draw the curtain back and see what's happening. Yeah. Because the world around there has stopped. So it's not just like that Dottie is free and she's a bad guy. Whatever, you can write about everything else. Maybe you could be wrong about one thing.
Okay, so yes, everybody is focused on this, including Agnes, and we know that Agnes is playing a role in how things go. Okay, we know that now. So she comes and interferes with, especially Monica, bringing Wanda out of her depression and into acceptance. That's exactly what she prevents her from happening. So like that's awesome, and it's exactly what we would expect at this point. We get a focus on not the people in the background. We get a focus on Dottie paying attention to this, holding a rose. A rose is in the background is one of the things that is focused on in the credits. So it may come into potentially something that is important. But let's look at our postman, who has been in the background this whole time. It says Presto, and he has a rabbit on his little hat.
And he's been there a lot. He's been a regular mailman throughout all of the years, his job, and now he's a a courier guy, and that rabbit has a lot of the look of like the Amazon smile in reverse. Like it's almost the Amazonian colors too in some ways. So yeah, I love it.
Yeah. So I mean, it would be cool if this was actually Mr. Scratch, her son, Agatha Harkness's son
Is Nicholas Scratch.
It would be really cool, but maybe he's the missing person, as some people say.
Dominic says. I don't know. Dominic said that earlier too, and I feel like the missing person is, now that I'm getting here, I would like it to be bigger than it was, but I think it was just the reason that it was pulled Jimmy Woo to this place so that we could have the Jimmy Woo character there. Yeah. Not that there's even more relevance, because there's so many plot threads already.
Yeah.
That
Yeah, and Agatha spoke to him directly in episode 1 or 2. It was 2 when he said hi to her on the street when they were about to go to the Dottie meeting. These 3 people back again. What the hell? And I do think that the she that they are referring to might now be Agnes, but we'll talk about that as we get kind of further along.
Further in here, big reveals are about to happen.
I fully admit I may be wrong about Dottie, but I still think that she might be somebody important. It's just me being a thing, because why is she there? Why is that important?
Yeah.
And they don't make decisions like that randomly, it feels like.
But she's also a distraction from Agnes being the bad guy, right? She's somebody to latch onto in that second episode.
Yeah, she could have been a red herring, a red Dottie. Yeah. That's fine. I will accept I was wrong.
I love how her hoodie's kind of superhero-esque, kind of it's kind of reminiscent, especially the things on the shoulders of her superhero
looked like Pietro's shirt. Like
really?
Because Pietro had a blue and a white line on his shirt that he wore on the last episode. It looked like the twin version of that.
Yeah.
Which is cool. Okay, so
oh my god, my favorite moment.
I love this whole thing, and this is me getting tired and not really figuring out how to make the slide look pretty, but it was like I loved how like he automatically assumes it's like Wanda trying to stop him. I think it might have been actually Agnes trying to stop him from coming back. But I loved all of the different, like first the stoplight, then the control, like then the construction, then the kids. It's like kids, like
what's next? Puppies?
What? Puppies? And then he has this amazing moment where they are just like they have this amazing moment where they are having that discussion, and he's like, working through it. Wanda's like, or Wanda, I didn't realize how much Wanda had gone through in this, time that I had been away. For me, it felt like it had happened to somebody else. And it's so cool because maybe that's actually what had happened. Maybe he is a vision from another reality. And either way, I am so happy that he snaps himself out of it, which shows that he has some sort of control over what is happening and the format that is being put on him. And he bonks his head takes the thing off and bumps his head on the boom, and then ends up taking off to go and goes through the roof. And I have a picture of that too, where he's like flying up through just like, I guess I'll just meet you there. I guess I'll just meet you there. Ever. And then, Agnes takes her into her house, and she sits down in front of the TV, and the cartoon or the kids show that's on the screen.
It's a sandwich like that.
Eat your crusts, kids.
That's not even eating the crust. It's literally like ripping the sandwich apart and taking out. Oh, whatever.
Yeah, it got your dad goat up a little bit.
I made that sandwich. You will, and this is how you respect me in the eating of it.
It was whole wheat bread, wasn't it? No, it was white bread. I can't tell.
I don't know. I don't care really. I like that the plates are mismatched, which is just like that's so real.
It's very real. Yeah, where are the twins? You know, and on the screen is actually Yo Gabba Gabba, which is like a kid's show. And what I love is like there's a little female wolf and a one-eyed yellow like alien. I don't know the characters at all, but I love that that's what the focus was, like a woman and a man without their other two little compatriots.
What are they saying? Like trust.
Yeah.
Was that what they were saying? I can't
Something
remember
like
the word
that.
was.
Yeah.
They were repeating it over and over and over again.
Yeah, exactly. And then
I thought it was relevant.
And then cut to, and now people are like, oh, is it a fly? No, it's a
cicada.
Cicada, yeah. Which mythologically speaking, a cicada is associated with like the muses and capturing people in a dreamlike state. It's sort of like the fairies who cause you to dance and act or dance until you die, basically. It's associated with that sort of mythology. And so that's kind of what's happening in Westview. It's been a week. Like, are people eating? Are people sleeping? Are people, doing what they need?
I agree. Also, like they're very rare. They come out from hibernation like every 17 years or something ridiculous. Like they're a strange bug.
Mm-hmm.
And it's weird that there would be one on her wall because usually there's not just one.
And Jesse Garrett, who's in our chat, actually pointed out that Mephisto's first appearance in the comic books, he pointed this out on our Discord, that Mephisto's first appearance was actually a fly on the wall. So maybe they're combining these two things to kind of say like, hey, this is pointing out to some sort of mythological thing that's happening. But it's mythological as hell.
Yeah.
What they're doing with the fly on the curtains. Like, yeah. So
it's drawing the attention to the unusual. Like there's something different and something wrong going on. And then we get a music beat that tells us, yeah, you know what? You're right to have that feeling because now I'm going to make you feel it with music. And then even then, like the conversation is still very practical and normal. Oh, they're just downstairs in the basement. Then there's a pause and she leaves camera. She walks off camera.
Yeah.
And the music changes its tone to a more ominous note. And she steps away and you're like, was that supposed to be normal? Because it felt very not normal.
Yeah.
That was very
She was getting her tea, but she had the tea in her. Yeah, it was weird. But then she walks down in the basement and the basement felt so real until it wasn't. Until it wasn't.
The steps down were so like, that was the basement I had when I was growing up. Also, I didn't know this, but how many houses in New Jersey actually have basements? That doesn't seem like a big New Jersey, Eastern Seacoast.
No, it's huge in New Jersey. But
okay,
they're very similar weather to us. So they have those full sub-basement, sub-underground basements. Whereas like if you were to go further south, basements are less.
Yeah. Somebody pointed out that Agnes's house in this scene is very much like the house in Bewitched. I didn't notice that or know that. They might be reusing set pieces for it too. The basement felt very real, but then I also want to draw back to the fact that it felt unfinished. And then we see Wanda's house, Wanda and Vision's house, as it flickers. It sometimes, and there's like that sound as the stairs flicker. That is this house even really there? Is it exposed to the elements and it's like a torn, dilapidated home that's been redesigned for the reality of Wanda's world? I
don't know. I'm looking forward to finding out. But then as she starts to go down the stairs and she reaches where the vines are like, or the roots are coming up the like sub basement.
Yeah, we get that swampy feel.
They get that swampy feel. The aspect ratio changes.
Yeah, it does.
It goes.
Yeah,
it's so
modern
good.
Day. It says we're leaving the reality that Wanda has created and we are entering the real world. And what a set.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to do a vampire LARP game in that set.
Yeah. I'm actually thinking, no, I didn't actually have a slide.
Grab it?
I didn't have a slide.
Oh, it's so big. There's runes everywhere,
runes and
big
skulls
arches,
and
strange
golden
sigils
stuff
around the like. It is definitely a place where seances and dark magic is evoked here.
Yeah,
and we're drawn into a book suffused with power.
Yeah, it's like
with
it's
two-
leaking power.
2 infinity symbols inscribed or embossed upon
What's
it.
interesting, so it's like 2 infinity symbols, and they're all like they're connected almost like keys into almost like a doorway in the middle.
Oh, wow.
Like when you look at it, like it is like there's a doorway or like a lock, and
Yeah.
it looks like 2 keys.
Definitely a lock. 2 keys entering a lock, and that's like 2 magic users right here. We have Agatha and we have Wanda.
Yeah. And
this
you didn't
book-
think you were the only magical girl in town.
I love it. It's magical.
I love that.
Girl.
And I was like, oh my God, I hope we get all 3 magical girls that now exist in Westview's magical to girl transformation sequences.
I love that Agatha took the time to let her hair down.
Oh yeah, let her hair down and grab her bunny.
The bunny stroking
the bunny. And she put on her brooch too, which she
Yeah.
wasn't wearing before, which is the classic Agatha Harkness thing. And she's just like, let me introduce myself. It's very dramatic. I am Agatha Harkness. It's nice to finally meet you.
Yeah.
Very
delightful.
evil. And then we get the, magical, like, and we get Agatha all along, which everybody has been pointing out that they are singing this in their heads. Like, it is an earworm. It is perfect. Who's been messing up everything? It's been Agatha all along. I'm not the greatest singer, so
That's okay.
but yeah.
But she's been pulling every evil string. She's insidious.
Haha.
She's perfidious.
What is
And
perfidious?
you haven't even noticed. I didn't even look it up. I usually would, right?
Yeah.
But what really harkens to me here is that even though she's pulling evil strings, that doesn't necessarily that her actions are evil. And they take a special point to call her naughty Agatha.
Yes.
Not evil Agatha.
Yes.
Not terrible Agatha. Not
Yes.
like it is naughty. It is it's bad adjacent. It's saying that whatever, like she is possibly not the bad guy here. She's just been naughty. So and it's not ascribing motivation behind it.
Not. Oh my God, it's so good. So you're like, she's been behind everything. Actually, it doesn't say that. It just says that maybe she's been taking advantage of the situation to push Wanda in a particular direction.
Yep.
Also, Catherine Hahn also sings the vocal part of this song that's like Agatha all along, like she sings the main soloist part of this song. So wow, so she is naughty, she is taking advantage, but she is maybe not the thing that is causing this. So it is getting more and more complicated with what is actually happening.
Yeah. And in the intro, the Malcolm in the middle, written across her sweatpants,
was naughty on her butt, which is, oh, wow. Yeah.
Naughty Agatha.
Naughty Agatha. And I grabbed screen captures of all of her little magical things, including the one where she's like the person behind the scenes and it says Agnes on the thing.
It.
Oh my God, I love her so much.
Yeah. It's delightful.
Oh, deceitful and untrustworthy, which, doesn't necessarily mean...
Yeah, she's lying, and she's definitely misusing things.
She's misusing things, but it doesn't mean that this is the reason. She might not necessarily be the big bad, and thus could also be a evil person turned ally.
Yeah.
So I just want to throw that out there that,
she might be under obligation to act in this way.
Which would tie into comic... stuff, so but yes,
I would love to see that play out. That it is
redemption.
Because Wanda needs an ally. And Wanda needs a teacher. And I think that Agatha fulfills both of those needs. So I would hate to see them go forward with this show as though Agatha could not be used in a more progressive fashion in future elements.
It's really interesting because both of our kids think we're adjusting our drinks. They were knocking. Both of our kids think that it's still Wanda, and Wanda has brought about Agatha to blame things on.
Wow.
Yeah. Both of our
They're
kids,
so smart.
both of our kids think that.
Man, it's totally not the case.
I know.
But what a great thought.
I think that especially Robin, who's our oldest girl, she just really wants Wanda to have the agency to say like she's doing this all herself, which is, I mean, perfectly awesome to say, you've had the agency and you're doing all of this, and
Yep.
it's up to you to help figure yourself out, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then if you guys didn't go past the credits, the like kind of jewel-y credits, there is an after credit scene, and this is the
Yep.
first one that we've had. So I'm wondering if we'll get them for the rest of the
We are.
of
I
the
think that's
episodes.
going to happen.
Yeah.
Also, this is now a nod. This is no longer just that WandaVision limited series. This is a true MCU, and you're going to get an after credits Easter egg scene. Please
Yeah.
continue watching going forward, because we're going to twist things. And
So
move
if you
things
didn't
along.
watch it, go back and watch it.
Yeah.
It's basically we cut to Monica, and she's sneaking up to Agnes's house, and she opens the cellar doors, which, I mean, that's not a thing that has Canada written all over it. We don't have cellar doors like that, but cellar doors, and the cellar like leads down to the sub basement, of course.
Yeah.
She opens those up. She sees the roots, and they're pulsing with purple energy.
And she sees them through her spectrum
She
eyes.
sees them
'cause
through her
eyes are
spectrum
all
eyes.
blue lit up.
Yeah. And then we see Pietro walk up, and he says, "Sneaker's gonna sneak.
Snooper's gonna snoop.
Snooper's gonna snoop.
Snooper's gonna snoop.
Snooper's gonna snoop." And
And
then
it's more
her
like,
eyes.
it's actually like Snooper's gonna snoop is what he says, because he doesn't get the full gunna out, which I thought was just funny. And he's just dressed like a 90s
like
dweebus
grunge, like
Ugh.
also he's wearing like a tie-dyed shirt
and a tie-dyed hoodie
and a tie-dyed hoodie and
with
like
a
weird like
stocking cap
stocking.
toque. Oh,
Yeah.
it's so terrible.
And then her eyes are kind of like purple infused with the blue.
Exactly.
So like, wow, that was amazing.
Yeah. Also, I just want to draw back. There's that moment where Agnes goes up to Wanda and puts her hand on her back and then rubs a little bit and says, "We should go this way and stop talking to
Oh
this
yeah, she was
person
definitely
here."
using her
You know,
power.
I feel like we might get a scene where she's using her
Yeah.
powers on Wanda.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. All right, let's talk briefly about Team Evil's.
I love that they're both AHs.
Yeah, that's weird.
Agatha Harkness and acting director Hayward.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
funny.
Um,
It's our moment.
So I think this is going to be an expanded slide eventually, where I'm going to actually point out everything, because it feels like if Pietro. Okay, let's speculate and talk about things that have happened in the past and like what I see happening.
Yeah.
I think Pietro might be working for Agnes, at least since the time he showed up.
Right.
Trying to ask questions, because Agnes is interested in the limits of Wanda's powers, right? So she's like, "You can bring people back from the dead?" Like, "Oh, how did you start this?" Through Pietro, potentially, right? So I'm assuming, but I'm assuming anything that Pietro asked Wanda last episode was actually from Agnes.
Oh, neat.
Okay.
That he's basically asking her questions because Agatha wants the answers.
Agatha wants the answers to
That's
them.
a neat line.
Okay, so that's what I think is going on with Pietro last episode. He might have been brought there through other means, somebody else doing that. So that's like the magical superhero-y side of what is going on. I still don't think that Agnes started this. I think that she's taking advantage of it. That's certainly in the theme song. That's certainly in what we have seen. She could be represented as the shark in the Yo Magic commercial, or it could be somebody else that is sucking magic. I think that there's enough to say that there is some sort of magic or energy sucking activity happening in the themes and in the sort of symbolism and metaphor that has happened in the show so far.
So do you think that Agatha is getting some of her magic back because Wanda's magic is being drained instead by whatever it is that's draining it, that's connected to the book? And that the reality around Wanda is fading, and why Agatha had so much more power this episode than she's had in previous.
Maybe. I just wanted to kind of take a look at the book. So the book looks like it's a sort of orangey color.
Yeah.
And when you take red and purple together, you get that kind of color.
In light spectrum?
In like spectrum. Yeah. And I know that because of the Alana books. It gets a kind of bloody reddy orange color.
Right.
When it's purple and red magic mixed together.
That's nuts.
I mean, so I think that there's something
from the
there.
Spell Plague? Is that what you're talking about in the Alana books?
Yeah,
the Spell Plague from Duke Roger of Conte and how he manipulates Alana's magic?
No, Alan's magic.
Alan's magic, right.
Yeah, he combines together his red and the purple magic, and it goes into this bloody, like, orangey brown color.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
I don't know. That's what it looked like to me. I was like, this is their magic being sucked up by this book for whatever reason.
There's a deep cut there.
Deep cut. 8 people in the chat know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, everybody should read Tamora Pierce's book.
I mean, Tamora Pierce is brilliant, so just do it. Okay, so I think she's taking advantage of the situation. Yes, she is naughty. Yes, she is doing things that are evil, but
so is Tyler Hayward.
So is Tyler Hayward, and it's for selfish reasons, probably for him too. So he has taken advantage of Vision's corpse body and was trying to turn it into a sentient weapon. We see that now very clearly, and he's trying to cover up for his own incompetence and idiocy.
Yep.
So something he did to Vision, though, I do think that he probably wiped Vision's memory to turn him into a weapon for himself. But he didn't, of course, wipe out the fundamental core, the heart of Vision, which is the love that he has for Wanda, because it's a love you've never seen, and it surpasses the ability for a jackass like Hayward to have wiped it out. Right? So there's this magical aspect. There's this technology aspect. I do think that Wanda has been influencing and controlling a lot, but perhaps is not necessarily the reason, because we can't trust anything Agatha said to Vision in the car. Right? So it could have been her that has been in people's heads, because we only heard her previously to when we had, when Vision woke up the guy Norm in the office, right? So we can assume something else is going on there than whatever Agnes said. Half-truths are always fun, though. I still think that there's something else going on, because we don't get the end, like why these things are happening just yet. We don't fully understand their character motivations for why they're doing the things that they're doing just yet. So that is still TBD discovering them.
I agree.
To be determined that we will discover them. Yeah.
Yeah. There's another bad guy to come.
Yeah. You think it's going to be Mephisto in the end?
I think so. I think that's going to segue up the entire big bad for the next.
Do we know anything?
Arc.
Like, what could we share about Mephisto? I really don't know anything about him.
Well, Mephisto is based off of Mephistopheles.
Yeah.
Mephisto has been around since the dawn of time. Mephisto makes contracts with people and then enforces those contracts at the worst possible time to manipulate his own needs. He's one of the big bads of the Avengers and Doctor Strange. He's been in Marvel Comics since the mid 60s. And if not earlier, and he's just a big red devil most of the time. He's good because he's insidious, and it means that they're like Hydra in some ways. The people who are doing things are under obligation. They don't want to do these things, but the contract they have with Mephisto enforces that. So it plays a lot of that MCU Hydra bit where you can't trust people. Is that person on my side or are they not on my side? But twists it a bit on its head. So he will be an interesting villain forthcoming. And I think that we've seen enough leaks and teasers and other pieces coming out to show that it could be the case. Also, Mephisto has a lot of magical abilities, and I think that might help us in tying back and bringing characters like Black Widow back to us that are not necessarily gone, but they're gone.
Right.
So I think that we have a really good big bad that will be that has a lot of complexity to him. I just don't know how the general church-going public is going to want to see the devil played up in MCU.
I don't care.
Yeah. Let's watch Bucky punch Mephisto in the face. Yeah.
Yeah, when they started to lean into the magic stuff with Doctor Strange, they also dealt with Hellrider too in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I don't know.
Ghost Rider.
Sorry, Ghost Rider. This is a very strong drink.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah.
It's delicious. So yeah, conjecture related wise, I think we're coming into basically 2 hours of end show.
Yeah. Because
Feige said that it's 2.5 hours, and this episode was not an hour, it was 37 minutes.
Yeah.
It was not long
So
enough.
we're gonna have a full movie basically left.
Yes.
As far as content.
I don't know if we're gonna get all of it together next week.
Yeah, I was wondering if next week would be like the full 2 hours to kind of close it all out and be like a movie to end it all off, or if it would be like the next 2 weeks.
I think it'll be the next 2 weeks, and then there'll be a week of legend.
Break.
Well, no, there will be they'll release the 2 legend episodes
For Falcon
and Winter Soldier, and then the very following week we'll get the launch of Falcon and Winter Soldier because they come out on March 19th, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that timeline means that we're going to get a 1 hour episode next week and on my birthday, and a 1 hour episode the following week.
So yeah, I agree. We'll see where we go. If we're doing 2 episodes next week, we'll all sing happy birthday to you on live.
Wait, only if it's 2 episodes?
No, we'll do it anyways.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll do it anyways. But just to announce, I know I announced it last week, but we are going to be doing Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Loki. We're having a lot of fun doing these, so
we'll continue to do so.
Yeah, exactly. And we have some great plans for both Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Loki, which should be a lot of fun. And I hope you guys are enjoying coming along and hanging out with us while we are talking about this and enjoying Kyle being a clown and also dressing like one.
Exactly. So join us back next week for more clowning around.
Clowning around. We do really appreciate everybody coming out. Make sure to like and subscribe so then you can keep up with the next few months of content coming out from What the Fiction. Follow us on WT Force Media on Twitter or WT Force Media on Instagram. And if you want to follow me personally, I am Marie C. Gould on Twitter, and Kyle is Tavern Tales DM on Twitter.
Yeah, and if you're interested, check me out on Twitter because I do a reveal costume to Marie Claire earlier on live on Twitter, and you get to see our whole backdrop of what we how we're all set up here. So.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's yeah. All right. You guys are amazing. Thank you for joining us every single week. We are having so much fun doing this. This is why we're going to continue doing it. And we're really, really looking forward to the next series, as well as finishing out WandaVision and seeing where this all goes. And it's just, fun to have something to look forward to and share it with others. So we hope that you have a good week, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
Cheers.